Okay, welcome everybody. You can give me a few minutes here while I go ahead and finish up my preliminary stuff here, and we'll get into the story. I hope to have the Wizard U thing sewn up, the trophy room area sewn up. Um, Piece of pepper. Anyways, so give me a few minutes while I finish setting things up here. Yabba dabba 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 doo. A B B A means no. D A B B A means yes. Switch the letters around. Okay, and let's go to. Today, I'm only going to be doing about 3 hours. I'm going to be doing about 90 minutes here. So it's 11:41 my time. So um, I'll be breaking at 1. It'll still be an hour, and then I'll go for another 90 minutes on the other side. I'm going to start doing the thing where it's a little bit less time. Granted, 1 hour less is 1 hour less still, but just so I can get stuff done in the day earlier and stuff. Today we went to the store. We had to pick up a few things, and so um, I got to make a dinner and stuff late. So, anyways, just give me a few more minutes. Yeah, that's all right there. And going live now. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Actually, let's just do going live now. 168 part 1. Okay. And we'll do that in. Okay, give me a quick second. Post. Be going live now. Post and Rita Engine is live. Like that. Okay, good. And that's good for that. All right, now I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's go back to Discord. Give me a second on that. I just put all my windows over here on the TV on the right. I wanna call it my secondary monitor, but I know it's just a TV, so my brain fights with, do I want to say my other TV, my TV, my side monitor, my second monitor. Yeah, okay. So, okay, so still don't need to go into desktop just yet. While I think, let's see, was it Grok? Chat. It was Chat GPT that I was missing the story with, right? Game summary. See when it pops up here. Uh, Tiny tourists. Tiny openings. He's not full wizard yet. Oh. Okay. So new day. Actually, let's go ahead and show the desktop. Here we go. So new day. Monday, August 25th, 2025. By the way, I just turned the big 50 on Saturday. So Saturday was my birthday, and my mom came down from Georgia to visit, which was it actually wasn't that bad. I didn't really, I don't know. I get nervous when I haven't seen people for a while, even relatives, even close relatives, and I, was, I wasn't really sure I wanted to I wasn't sure that I really wanted to visit with my mom on my birthday. Normally me and my dad do something a little bit, although we can't really get out. I get a pizza or something, something to eat, whatever. And it was fine though. My mom came down, and my grandmother on my mom's side, my mom's mom, and then her husband, who's not my dad, um, came down, and they're actually pretty nice people and everything. It was cool. We went out to eat. We went to the mall. Um, it's funny because like I'm not really set up to like host people, right? So I didn't really have anything to do. We were thinking about going to a place, um, but it was raining, and part of their deal is closed down because they're cleaning something, and so plus it's been really really hot here, so it wouldn't be good anyways, even if we got in there in the morning and it wasn't raining. So we ended up doing we ended up visiting a store that makes jelly candies that usually sells citrus during the growing season, which is not this. So they didn't have any citrus today, but they had some candy, some like gator jerky, some souvenirs and stuff. We went there, and then we went to a local mall to basically just walk around until dinner. And then my grandmother saw an antique shop, so we all went into the antique shop, and then we went to dinner. All in all, it was an okay day. So it was pretty good. I had met my mom's husband. He's a nice guy, pretty good guy, and so overall it was a good day. It was actually pretty fine instead of being bad as I thought it would be. When relatives come down and you're just like, oh, I don't know, and then you have to. It's like, even though it was my birthday, it's kind of like, well, you have to host them, you have to show them around and do stuff or whatever. And I'm just not, I'm not that guy. I don't drive, for a number of reasons, which I'm still going to learn to drive one of these days. Even though, yes, I am 50, and no, I've never had a driver's license. So, um, but there may come a time where I need my license. But yeah, so all in all, my birthday it was not bad. It was okay day. Anyways, um, so new day, Muggles. Would you please recap where I was at? Okay. Let's see here. That, there is that. Nobody's talking in. Let's bring this down a little bit. Okay. And then I should go ahead and refresh. Good chat. Hello, all four people of you, all four of you people. Yeah, my B-day was on Saturday. My birthday was on Saturday, and I'm also typing that into IRC. Yep, big 5-0. Anyways, I actually didn't have any cake. My mom made me an apple pie. It was all right, but I didn't actually have any cake bomb. So here, I even type it in IRC. Any cake this time? Okay. Anyways, yeah. So I am quite a bit older than I look. Well, I said I think I was kind of semi joking, and I said that if I dyed my hair, because if you I don't know if you can tell, but on the sides, they're graying now, but the graying temples, but I said if I dyed my hair, I could look like I was 30 or like I was in my 30s, and then they're like laughing, like like you wish kind of thing, like yeah, right. But honestly, I have a feeling that maybe I would probably look. I don't think I look 50. I guess I think I look younger, and I don't mean that as a brag, like oh I look so young and blah blah blah. No, I just mean for years, uh, some old ladies, like back when I lived in Oregon, thought I was 18, and I was like I don't know, I was like in my 30s then, and so I should look like I'm in my 30s or maybe approaching 40. But no problem, Kahan. Okay. Hold on. Pizza plus apple pie would do. Thanks, Bomb. I do think I possibly look like I'm in my 30s. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to make myself like look better, like oh I'm so young, but um we tend to most of us tend to look younger than our age. My dad still looks younger than his age, even though you can tell he's older now. But um, anywho, let's get back to the game. I didn't mean to turn this into a deal where people are telling me happy birthday and stuff. So, but thanks for everybody for doing so. Here, thanks, Kahan. I'm just am I pronouncing it right, Kahan? Is that right? Because if I'm pronouncing it wrong, let me know. Um, yeah, I went ahead and typed it into the chat as well, just because so people don't think it's a one-sided conversation. I still have this. To me, there's still this weird like disconnect between talking on the camera, like I'm talking to somebody, like I'm talking to you. I mean, I am talking to you, but you know what I mean. Like I'm talking to a person. I'm looking in the camera, and then the chat comes up, and for me, I have to look to the side to look at the chat, and so I have this kind of disconnect. And then there's the delay, right? There's the delay between when you actually see me say something or do something, and when I respond. So I respond when I see it, but you won't get to see the response until a minute later or something. You know. Okay, that's also how you pronounce it. That's good to know. So at least I know I'm not not wrong or whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's just like Ufgood. It's kind of funny because it's a U in there. Even my dad says Offgood sometimes, and I think I've heard some people say Offgood, instead of Ufgood. And I guess maybe that's because the H in there, the silent H, and that was just a mistake on my part. The name of the character from Willow is Willow, and his last name is Ufgood, and it's Ufgood. I only saw that after I got I got one of the novel the novel sequel to Willow, um where it actually spelled out his name and it didn't have an H in it, and an H is just my stupid whatever, my imagination or whatever you want to call it. But it still keeps it unique, right? So people don't, even if they would copy the last name, even if they knew the last name, then they copy it and use it. At least nobody will copy my name or use my name, so it kind of works. Anyways, hold on a second. Okay, so let's get back to the action. And I don't know if anybody has a suggestion on making this. Here, actually, let me pull up. Um, it's so weird. I'll get. Okay, that's all right. What am I doing? Favorites. That's what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Even though I'm not doing the layout tool until the second stream or until after the break, um, I managed to do this. It still feels kind of weird to me. And what it was doing is it was jittering, and I think I was using Grok to help me figure this out, how to do the panning in in the editor in the GD script. But it was jittering, it was jerking, and so now it's got a lerp attached to it, which I have set to about 7.5. I don't know how to do it. 7.75% or something. Um, for the speed essentially, and so it seems like it's okay. Now, of course, um, it still feels like it's a little sluggish to me, I think. But if I go up to 1, or if I go up past 0.75, I can start to see it jitter. And when it's all the way at 1, it just like jerks and jitters. But um, until then, I think this is gonna have to do until then. And I'm still working on the zoom part of it. Anyways, uh, let's actually go to the 2D deal here. And okay, so this is actually the viewport for the camera there. And actually, here, let's see. I moved everything down so that you could see, it. But if I move it, back up here, like this. Oh, I see it. I didn't think about it. So it's actually moving. The camera shouldn't be part of room. This should be just part of layout tool though. So I should be dragging the layout tool. I should be dragging the rooms here and not the layout tool. So oh, maybe I see. Maybe I selected the camera also though. Maybe that's the deal with that. See something here. They're all selected. See layout camera. Layout camera is actually not part of rooms. It's part of its own deal. Uh oh, and that's the other thing. Okay, so I actually moved it up. Okay, I get it. I get it. Control S, say room data, and then let's go over here to where we're supposed to be. Now, Okay, so what do we got here? Shrink someone, shrinks Hubert down to size, newly found one, enters the room, once inside, reverses the spell, until he goes back up to normal size. Okay, so now we're over here, and what have I written in here so far? Makes his way to the trophy room, notices the display case that had previously housed the Quicksilver Scepter was now empty with no signs of tampering. After examining the case, he is able to discern that there was some magic used, but not to what extent until he does a closer examination. He tries a word reveal spell. Because of the broken magic, nothing happens at first, and then floating, rotating lights appear and disappear, and then reappear again. Hubert mutters something about the words not being tripped. Then Hubert searches his bag and realizes he doesn't have the right hats. So, with Quicksilver in hand, opens a portal to the hat room, and then, uh, and then I quit. Right, hit one to continue, and that's like this. So, here, let's hit OK, and let's go ahead and save it, resave it. So let's think here. Okay. Yeah, and I used to program in that. In fact, when I was learning C, that's what I learned C with, was using DJ. You pronounce that? Jujub? No, DJGPP. Um, and I was using that for a while before I started doing anything in Windows at all. So, yeah, back in the DOS days. You got 86 blocks, and so you can run virtually any system you want. So find a decent old system, pull out the old DJGPP and decompiler, and find something like Allegro or something, or SDL. I think SDL, and then maybe I could program for old DOS game. I mean, we can play any DOS games now if we want. I could just make new DOS games if I wanted to, and people could play it on DOSBox. People can play it on any emulator. And in fact, on pretty much any system that runs DOSBox. So that's actually an added kind of a bonus. If you could get people to play your new old game, that would be pretty cool. I thought about doing that at some point too. But anyways, okay. So let's see what ChatGPT has told me about where I'm at. Hubert needed a way to get into Wizard U. Okay, yeah. Well, he's already in Wizard U, but I had my problem with him having to the teleport back to his hat room, or not teleport, but actually open a portal too. Um, that's what works like a charm on Linux. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that doesn't sound like a bad deal. Have all this experience with DOS programming. I could finally learn how to program in mode 13 in what was it? Mode X? Is it Mode X? Anyways, where it's 320 by 240 instead of 320 by 200, and square aspect ratio. And then if I do a square aspect ratio too, that has the added bonus of looking correct on modern monitors. Because if you remember, the pixel aspect ratio was it was like 5:4 or something similar to that, where the pixels were taller than they were wide. Like it's like 1.5 times taller than wide, I think. So 320 by 200 actually looked like it was stretched out or whatever. So whenever you do a 320 by 200 image on a modern display, it kind of shows it kind of squished because we have square pixels now. So, but so yeah, so doing a 320 by 240 has the added advantage of being able to use modern tools and have it look right in the modern tool. Anyways, okay, so you can teleport or pop in and out of places, then the locked closed nature of the Wizard U shouldn't have been an obstacle. I've already established that portal magic is separate from other forms of magic, which is why tourists with enchanted tickets can jump onto a flying train midair. That means rules across access rules for portals are more rigid and special than normal magic. The logic made it tricky because it seemed like Hubert should have been able to enter easily unless you explained otherwise. You're brainstorming a solution that wouldn't break your existing world logic, and you wanted to think about a way Wizard U could still be protected while I suggested one possibility, maybe the university shielded with anti-portal wards to stop pranksters, uninvited tourists, or magic accidents, meaning even Hubert can't pop in, he'd have to sneak in, use a mundane entrance, or find a loophole. So the current problem to solve is how can Hubert logically get into Wizard U without contradicting the portal teleport rules he've already set up? Uh, I probably already have a somewhat of an idea, I think. Um, Actually, I'm not sure if I have an idea. This is the problem. This is the problem with how long this part's taking. This whole thing. This is actually the game here, right? Obviously, it's not the narrative. It's not the story pass where I make it like you're reading a story. But I'm having to generate lots of stuff that I didn't have to generate before. Before I had just a plot outline, and then I suppose if I was making a screenplay, I'd still have to come up with some of these things. Still, I mean, you'd still need some of it, but maybe because of the way it is, I wouldn't have to think of extra choices like what choices to do and stuff. I come up with a solution, and then that would be the solution. That'd be it, you know. Okay, so what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Let me actually look. You know, I should probably always look at the back scroll, but the reason the reason I asked it to do it is so that I don't have to look at the back scroll. But then I'm gonna have to look at it anyways because I want to make sure that I remember what I was saying. There's got to be a better way of doing that too. Like I should probably if I'm thinking of something, I should probably write it down in the notes as something that I'm thinking of. You know, I don't think I wrote anything in the notes. Um, oh, I don't get why it does this sometimes. Oh, this is probably because the power went out. If you're watching on Friday, I guess it was, the power went out, and so my stream went out. Portal magic works because each realm location in a particular realm signature resonant frequency. So when you hold on to a piece of quicksilver with the intention of going somewhere and saying the words to manifest your intention, the quicksilver aligns your frequency with that of the destination, and it opens the portal. Max found a way to open a portal without intention or massive amounts of quicksilver. He uses a little model of the mechanism and stealing the scepter from Wizard U. This, of course, is a test run to see if the viability of the portal opening device. He still needs large amounts of quicksilver to amplify the frequencies required to open to open uh, multiple large portals simultaneously. People will learn a bit about this when he investigates the stolen scepter from the Wizard U trophy case. So I made this like kind of an important thing. Um, Happy 50th. The last big one. By the time you're 55, you'll be telling people you're 60. Yeah. Or is it when I'm 60, I'll be telling people I'm 55? Okay. Anyways, I don't know, Rookie. Are you actually in the stream? Are you watching the stream? Or are you? I don't know if you're watching the stream. It's okay if you're not though. But so, okay. So, if you're wondering what I keep on humming, it's there's a an episode of the Flintstones where the singer songwriter Hoagy Carmichael, who wrote like multiple famous songs and stuff throughout the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and probably even later. Uh, he wrote his big major song was like Stardust, and anyways, so he writes a song, and actually he writes the music, and supposedly Barney Rubble writes the lyrics, and and Fred actually is the guy that supposedly suggested the idea for the title. You know, when actually Barney did the work. But it's funny, called Yabba Dabba 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 Doo. And so I watched that today, the clip from the show, and now I got it stuck in my head. Crazy, crazy. Anyways, yeah, the I guess milestone birthdays, right? Quarter of a century, half a century, 3/4 of a century. That'd be 75, and 75. I might even make it to 75, or I might just make it to 75, or just after 75, whatever. Um, okay. Anyways, so let's see whether or not to use it later. It's still kind of no good here because I already said what kind of logic, namely the portal magic is separate from other forms of magic, which is why a tourist can hop onto a flying train in midair and when they use their tickets. That being the case, the university shouldn't have been an obstacle. Let me think for a moment because I might be able to come up with something that doesn't break existing logic. Okay. Special entrance wards, location specific limits, temporal magical interference, story domain entry. I was going to say probably that um, yeah, I'll just go ahead and let it suggest ideas. You some ideas while I'm thinking. I'm still okay. So, um, okay. So for anybody, I guess watching. Okay, so this is the deal. Here's the setup. If you don't remember the setup, I've been saying it, but I'm gonna recap it and say it again. Okay, so here's the deal. He goes in the trophy. He goes into the trophy room, um, after getting into the school, and he notices the scepter's missing, and he notices that the uh, the case has not been tampered with in any way, and so he figures that I mean he can even kind of sense it that there must be some sort of magic that happened here. He doesn't know what it is yet, but he knows that somehow that's the reason it's missing. So the next thing he does is he does a spell to kind of uh, expose the wards, right? And these are the things that keep people from using magic to, um, or even even physically tampering with the case. Oh, sounds like it's raining, so hopefully this doesn't go out. But okay, so he does this kind of word scan, and the words appear and kind of disappear because the magic doesn't work perfectly. But it gives him enough information to know that the words have not been tripped. So somehow there's been some magic of some sort, and um, I have a feeling it's gonna stupid power is gonna go out at some point. So if I do, if it comes back quick enough, I'll either restart the stream or I'll start the second stream later in the day, whatever. If I'm not on at all for the rest of the day when I go out, then it's just because the power hasn't come back on yet. Anyways, okay, so he knows there's some magic in here, but he doesn't know how they could use magic on the case or how anybody could actually even physically tamper with it, even though it doesn't look like it's been physically tampered with, without uh, without tripping the wards. And so now he needs to figure out. Okay, he needs some spells, some different kinds of spells that he needs to do. And so I was thinking of a thing where, because I was thinking of okay, so I was thinking of the whole choice thing, right? You'd add a choice, so you'd add a choice of spells, or at least It wouldn't necessarily be. It might be like the other thing where he has to use all three spells, but you can use them in any order, right? I might do that, or I might just do the thing where he chooses spells and a single spell, and it all works the same way or something. So you'll be actually be bypassing two of the choices, but it means less pages or whatever. It doesn't really matter. What matters is he doesn't have the correct hats in order to invoke the spell. So I was thinking, okay, well maybe he can open a portal over to his house, his hat room, so he could grab a couple more hats that he needs. And I was thinking about this for a second, and then went, well, why couldn't he have just done that with Wizard U? Why does he have to? It's locked, and why can't he just open a portal into it? Especially considering that portals are a separate magic. In other words, anybody can use open a portal as long as they have the Quicksilver and they have that intention thing, right? Um, in the case of tourists, it's when they have the tickets. Now, if somehow they manage to keep a hold of their tickets, they could probably use that as portals anywhere. But basically, you go in and you give your ticket at the castle at check-in, and so you don't actually get to keep it. But it's a possibility that somebody absconded with their tickets or whatever, kept their tickets somehow. Anyways, that's a little aside. That's beside the point. But it's a separate deal. So that being the case, he should be able to just teleport in there. In fact, that the device that allows Max to steal the scepter does that. It does opens a portal inside the case. So I have to think. Do I just okay? So Max closed up the schools, right? He closed up Fairy God College. He closed up Wizard U. At Fairy God College is actually running. Violet is running it, and she is trying to turn the would be fairy godmothers into evil witches, which we're gonna find out later. It doesn't work out too well, but she's gonna keep trying anyways, and so it's essentially closed. So they're not accepting any new students. Okay, Princess Prep is completely closed, and Night School is training in the Royal Guard, so the Enchanted Guard, I should say. So so I guess you could say that since it's a wizard school, and it involves magic, I suppose there should be some sort of a protection from any something else. But the thing is the words to protect the case didn't stop it from having a portal open into it. So I have to come up with a logical reason why he went and had the mouse shrink him down, rather than just open a portal into Wizard U. I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to think of it. Portal resistant wards. Now, the problem with portal resistant wards is that the case would have had those on it in itself. Now, you could argue that the people that put them in place, the wizards that put them in place, weren't thinking that somebody would actually open a portal inside an object, inside like a box, right, inside the case, because portals are usually big enough for somebody to walk through. And Max's device is actually can actually open up a portal of any size. Of course, it needs more power, it needs more Quicksilver in order to open large ones, but it's able to open small ones. So maybe that could be a feature. Maybe that's why they didn't protect the case from a portal. Maybe I could say it like that, and so then I could actually have portal resistant wards. And the idea is I just didn't think of it. I mean, I could do that. I don't know if that's chintzy or cop out though. But here, let's see what else it says. Protective wards that block portal magic inside the grounds, since tourists might otherwise just teleport into classrooms without paying tuition. Yeah, well, it'd be tuition. It'd be tickets, guest tickets. So it's not like school. Like it's not a writing school. It used to be an actual school, but since becoming a resort, it's now a school for. The schools are run for the tourists. Every tweaking magazine makes it harder to slip past. Maybe you can only do it with effort. You need to work around. Um, the gatekeeper mechanism. The university portals only work if you're registered in the system. Think of magical turnstile. Hebert can't just pop in, but clever trick. He doesn't need to forge anything. See, this is the thing. Okay, so you might almost say that Hebert is the highest official in the land. He's the advisor. He's the guy that told the king to turn it into a tourist resort. He's behind stuff. He knows pretty much everybody, and he's almost he can almost essentially rule the lands if he wants to, uh, except for going over the king's head, which he wouldn't do anyways. But most of the time he doesn't do that. But I'm just saying, this is not a thing where he has to do anything. He has to do stuff to do anything. He doesn't have to do anything. But it's just whatever Max has done to stop him from doing stuff, right? Half magic problem used to be able to portal in anywhere, but since see this, and this is the other thing, the half magic does not affect the portal magic. That's why he would be able to use it at all. He's able to use portal magic without having a problem because he couldn't teleport with his own magic. He can just use portal magic, so that's not a problem either. Ceruleum as the key. And a unicorn curse's magical nature allows him to bypass the words in some way. No. Yeah, okay. Portal tickets are sold like theme park passes. Hebert can't just pop in with that one. Okay, so let me address all these things that ChatGPT just said. Maybe it'll come up with something else here. But let's check that out. Let's see here. Okay. So to be sure here, Hebert is advisor to the king, at least the real king. He's the one that suggested the king turn enchanted lands into a resort. He's the best friend to the real king. So essentially, he's like the second highest official in the land, except now him being locked out of things by the imposter king and Max. Impostor. Okay. Portal magic is different and Hebert's half magic has no effect on it. So it's one of the things he can use. Okay. He doesn't know what's happened to Sir William. They don't find that out until later in the story. He has his own magic mailbox. He doesn't really need any passes. to the various schools and whatnot. Uh, only work for in a magical turnstile. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it like that and see what it says after that. We'll see. Thanks, Rook. And good evening to you, sir. However, the real king best friend, effectively the number two in the realm. He's the guy whose ideas shaped the whole Resort Kingdom. The imposter king of sidelined him. He's locked out of things he normally should have access to, even though he's technically still the rightful advisor. Half magic, unreliable in some ways. Pro magic, however, is its own category and doesn't rely on his weekend reservoir, so you can still use it. He's got his own magical mailbox, doesn't need ordinary passes or permissions for schools, guilds, or other institutions. In normal times, he would walk through anywhere without issue, but now politics and imposter trickery are making him an outsider. He doesn't yet know Sir William's fate. Curse, Unicorn. That's a later reveal. So he's powerful in reputation, has unusual but limited magic, and it has back channels tools like mailbox brawl tricks. Politically isolated. Some ideas to keep him consistent, but also interesting in the story. Okay. Okay. Um, Selective access with portal magic. Hubert can blink into certain places, but wards exist in critical locations where Max has reinforced defenses, so Hubert uses portals for travel, but not as a solve all. This creates tension. He has an advantage, but he has to be clever about where he can appear. Yeah, that's fine. And this is like I said, this is potential a potential scenario I can go with. It seems a little weak to me, but it might be the only thing that's open right now, which is that they use a special like it said portal resistant wards. So and the reason they didn't put any wards on the case except for the regular magic ones is because it's too small for somebody to enter in. So they didn't consider that someone would use a portal to actually steal items from diminutive spaces or however you want to say it. Um, Though it's technically second highest, Hubert may carry a physical token of Real King's Trust, a signet ring, enchanted staff, or scroll decree. Normally gets them anywhere, but under imposter regime, people question it or outright fear the defying the new order that lets you keep this high station while still letting him feel blocked. Okay, that's fine. His magic mailbox isn't just communication gimmicks, his way to coordinate with the odds across the kingdom without Max knowing. Maybe at times he can slip some small magical items through it, dude, not just letters. This could be set up a clever puzzle or trick later. Yeah, I might do that. Right now, it's to send essentially send tickets through. But like he can use it to send stuff anywhere. Hubert's private vulnerability. Having been the guy behind the guy for so long, Hubert might feel personally insulted by being shut out. Could go sideways, half magic. Okay, comedy and pathos, that's fine. Unworked Sir Williams, good. If he were had known, he might have acted already. Instead, when he finally realizes, gives emotional weight. Nah, but this does not even have anything to do with what I'm trying to figure out. Magical blockades, or more about social legal pressure. No one listened to him. Uh, um, I suppose a blend of both, but it's not important at this juncture. One possible um, solution is that yes, portal resistant wards are placed on Wizard U. Yeah, it'd also be kind of interesting if there was something super important. Although there is something kind of important later, because Sir William actually ends up um, going through the front door. He ends up ramming it. That's a physical, and that's the other thing, is um, is the is it does it stop anybody from physically going in? Obviously, tricking them to the size of a mouse and going through the door doesn't. Um, so would he be able just to knock the door down? Because Sir William, I had set it up to do that, so I guess you can because that's the way I did it. Is it logical? I don't know if it's logical, but it's there. Um, but but why wouldn't the same words be based on the trophy case? Well, that's because no one assumes you're going to teleport into it. You're going to go through to a tiny space. To a tiny space, like the trophy case. So it never occurs to anyone to put on a portal resistant ward. Natural and fantasy logic in a way. A wizard use big obvious spaces like campus, classrooms, library, even the broom closet if it's prone to exploding experiments. Get all the protective wards because of course you'd expect people to sneak in via portals. But a dusty trophy case tucked away in a hallway, nobody in their right mind is going to think, what if somebody portals directly inside of this glass box just to get in? That's just a small, precise target. It'd be like warding every teacup in the castle. It also gives you a nice bit of comedic contrast. Hebrew with his half magic can't brute force through the main wards like a full wizard might. Um, but he can finesse his way into a ridiculous loophole no one accounted for. He probably even pats himself on the back for a creative blunt, when in truth, it's just because no one ever thought to ward the one useless entry point. Um, that gives you a blend you wanted plot-wise. It's justified, consistent, and not Deus Ex Machina. Conveniently makes Hubert look clever in a bumbling loophole exploiting way. Man, I don't know about that, but that's okay. It's just no, that's okay. I might stick with that at least for now. Also, I could probably put a rule, or put a I could put something on the portal magic logic where portals are usually only open to a size of whatever it takes for a human or a few humans to walk through. Not anything as small as the trophy case. This is also the reason Max needs a machine, because he needs to be able to open large multiple portals. simultaneously. And he also needs a Quicksilver to amplify the magic, even though the device actually does it without normal portal magic. Okay, that's actually kind of making some sense now. Portal skill rule in Enchanted Lands. Normal portal magic, good for a doorway size openings, big enough for a person or two. Tiny portals like Trophy Case Hatch, technically possible but absurd. Nobody ever tries it. Hubert only pulls it off because he's desperate. Well, no, he's not going to do it. He's going to find out that Max has done it. Okay, so you misunderstood something. Hubert does not get into the trophy case. Max opens a small enough portal without using Quicksilver by this device and is able to reach his hand in to grab the scepter. Hubert is trying to find out why it's missing, how it was removed. Yeah, how it was removed. I mean, I didn't tell it to think for an answer. I was trying to tell it, no, you got it wrong. It's this and this and this. You know, it's not this other stuff, right? I'll let it do its thing though. This is part of both it and Grok do these kind of things now. You don't set it; it actually determines based on the nature of it what model to use. So, which is kind of cool. Max opened a tiny portal inside the case, reached in, grabbed the scepter, and bailed. Hubert's job is to prove that's what happened. Here's a tight, game-ready way for him to deduce it. Word reveal, your shade Bob look intact. Yeah. Aegis reveal or whatever. No external spell or first entry touch the wards. Place of event finder shows a hole in space, not glass. Spell Moat Rewind. He animates dust motes to retrace the last movement. It only works inside the case, flickers everywhere elsewhere. I mean, that's fine. I don't really need actually help with the spells themselves. I mean, I already talked about it, and I already kind of know will behind it. Uh, detects the residue of intent-driven portal magic. Okay, that's fine. Mechanical resonance tell, device signature, tone of glass, wearing his listening hat. Well, it'll be a combination of hats that he casts a spell, but that actually is not a bad idea, honestly. Um, to some way to like listen to the magnetic the magical vibrations to realize that it's the same kind of a mechanism. It's the same kind of thing that happens in regular portal magic. It's just the way that it was attained, you know. So so the idea, and this is just the logic in my game, in my story. The logic is that you have to be holding a piece of Quicksilver, and you have to have an intent to go somewhere. That's really all you need, right? You say some words. The words aren't even really supposed to be magic words. They're supposed to be words of intent, you know. Like I want to go here. Take me here, right? And it will do it, right? So supposedly the science, it's not really science, obviously, it's not real, but the science is that what happens is the Quicksilver amplifies your intent which converts it to a frequency that is um, that's in line or in resonance with the realm or the location you're trying to get to. So you say, take me to Enchanted Lands, right? I mean, it could be something like that. And what it does is it goes, okay, your thoughts kind of change it and change that to the Enchanted Lands frequency, and then it opens a portal to Enchanted Lands onto one of like the flying trains or whatever. Um, that's kind of how it works, right? But Max has found a way of generating the frequency without using the Quicksilver and without using the intent. Now, the thing is I still needed to have Quicksilver as part of the story. He's mining massive amounts of Quicksilver to power his machine. His machine is a machine that will open large simultaneous portals uh, all at once. Well, that's simultaneous, but uh, large enough to march armies through to be able to conquer other realms. Okay, so what was I saying? So it still needs the Quicksilver to amplify the magic, right? But now it's not your intent or your thought that's causing the frequency to be the correct frequency. No, it's this little machine, this little mechanism that generates the right frequency, so that you don't have to, and it's able to open a portal. So that's the logic of the infigure smudge track through dust where the scepter lay, but no prints on the glass anywhere. Hand was inside without opening the case. That's probably not a bad idea. I I don't I try not to take ideas directly from AI, but something that makes sense because I'm trying to think. Well, what makes sense? What happens here? It's like what I imagine the MacGyver episode writers, and I mean the original one from the '80s, not whatever that new one was. Which I've never even seen the new one. In fact, he had a whole team of people rather than just be a MacGyver himself and maybe like a friend or something. You know, everything's got to be a team now. It can never be like a lone person. Like Knight Rider. Now, don't get me wrong. Most of these guys had like somebody that helps them. That's usually you have your buddy and you have your mentor and whatever in like most movies. So you do have kind of a team, sort of, but not to the extent of what they do now, because it's like this kind of communist ideal, I think, where everybody has to pitch in and everybody has to do this thing. You can't have like a lone wolf, like a lone uh, guy doing his own thing. Everybody's got to be pitching in and whatever. You know, um, is that socialist? Is a communist? I still don't really know the exact definition between the difference between communism and socialism. But basically, the one where everybody has to pitch in and everybody reaps their rewards, basically, kind of thing. And the old shows, even when they did have people backing them up, they had people backing them up, but they were the chief ones that ever doing things. Knight Rider, of course, he had Bonnie, which is the tech lady, whatever, and Devin, who was his boss. But he was the point guy. He was the guy that went out and on the missions. Him and Kit. So, and Kit was, of course, acting like the buddy character. He's kind of the buddy character in that group, in that duo. And just think of all the other stuff like that, where they, MacGyver worked on his own for a while, but sometimes he worked for uh, what they call it, DIA or something. I forget what they called it, but I even forget the character's name because I didn't never watch MacGyver originally because I think there was something else on at the same time. It was like either like the A Team was on at the same time as MacGyver. I can't remember what show it was that I never watched MacGyver, is because I had another show that I was watching, And I did end up watching all of the MacGyver DVDs except for maybe one or two. There's one dealing with some environmental thing or something, and I just like, oh man, I don't care about that crap, you know. But I watched most all of the episodes of MacGyver off of DVD when I was in Wilsonville, Oregon. And why was I even saying this? So I tend to go off on this deal, but I have the ADHD, and so my mind just when it wanders, sometimes I forget what I was getting to. Um, I was just talking about MacGyver. What I imagine the writers of MacGyver kind of went through. They go here, and then they be like, okay, so he's in the situation, and there's um I don't know, there's acid leaking through or something, and what is he? What can he do? What kind of weird thing can he do? It's like, oh yeah, it's a chocolate bar, and you put the chocolate bar on the thing, and then it creates a some chemical reaction, and it stops up the leak, or whatever that was from that first episode of MacGyver. But just thinking of, okay, so where is he at? He's at a boathouse. Well, he's got some oxygen tanks. He's got some, maybe a propane torch, for some reason, and some paint and whatever. And so this clue thing here is actually not a bad idea. Um, where he could figure out, yeah, he could figure out it was a hand that actually took that out. Now, it may not be very important. That's why it says optional. But because he knows that it's been broken into, he doesn't know how it's been broken into. But knowing that it was a hand in there, it makes sense, and it doesn't add another clue like, oh, it must be a person then. Well, no, he thinks it's a person anyway. So okay, this tonal glass thing is all right. Okay, so here's the deal. All right, I get that. This is all fine. This is fine here. Okay. Okay, so if the school is protected by magic resistant wards, can he still teleport? Can he still open a portal? I don't want to say teleport because teleport is a spell that you move something from one place to another. A portal opening is different, so that you can go to another place. Let's see. Can he still open a portal inside? Or is that logic too far-fetched? Because basically what I'm coming up with is a bunch of compromises, or else I have to drastically change my story from what it was. Now, the words prevent portals completely. If the words are airtight, then mortal Max shouldn't be able to bypass them at all. This would make Hubert's investigation simpler and scarier because the fact that something was stolen suggests either the words were weakening, something inside the skull tampered with them. Max has found a loophole that nobody else thought possible. This keeps the words meaningful and raises the stakes. Uh, if it does prevent portal completely, then how can he create a portal? I know I said my magic device does. The magic device mimics what happens when you hold on to a piece of Quicksilver and want to go somewhere with it. It mimics that. So if you can't open a portal into the trophy case because you're in the school that doesn't have the deals in there, unless he's able to bypass them himself because it's a spell that he cast, and so only he can get in there. But um, yeah, Max shouldn't be able to bypass him at all. Yes, but in a limited or clever way. Instead of brute forcing, Max could use his prototype machine to cheat the rules. The wards stop normal portal magic, but Max's device doesn't rely on the same magical principles, more about brute quantum scissors cutting space. So technically, he's not violating the rule; he's sidestepping it. Well, that's what I was saying, anyways. That's what he's doing, anyways. That's why the wards aren't tripped on it, anyways. Is because he's effectively sidestepped it by opening a portal in there. But if that's the case, then he shouldn't have a portal resistant wards on the outside, unless that only stops you from getting in. Once you're in, yeah, I mean, you can think of it that way. It's kind of semi logical, right? It's like you go into a prison, right? Um, it's easy to get into a prison, but it's hard to get out, right? That sort of thing. Or I guess that's the other way around though. So I'm saying that you've been saying that wrong. Okay, so but the idea being that once he's inside, well, you could also say once he's tripped the wards, then the wards are of none effect too. So I can do it that ways. Not perfectly. Okay, so the problem here is it blocks it 100%, then even his device would be blocked. All the device does is mimic what intention does. That is, you holding a piece of Quicksilver and intending to go somewhere. Does the same thing as the device does. It attunes you to the realm or location's resonant frequency, and thereby opens a portal to it. This is also why the words on the case weren't tripped. So he should... Okay. So if it stops all portal magic, then it will stop it on the device as well. Thanks for clarifying. Let's think through with your logic system. Quicksilver plus natural portal magic. Max device technological magical workaround that mimics the same process without raw Quicksilver. Words anti-portal security. If they block portals, they block all portals, whether Quicksilver base or device base. So yes, so the words are perfect. No portals allowed. Bubble. Then Max shouldn't be able to use his gadget at all. That would make the scepter theft impossible under the current rules. But yes, some leverage to wiggle. Partial wards. The wards could block portals into and out of the building and not within the building, so Max can't teleport straight inside from the outside. But once he's in, he can open localized arm length pocket portal to slip into the case. That fits in the small opening he used. Okay, so I mean that's actually fine. It's not really a partial ward. It's just the way the warding system works. Basically, it stops you from opening a portal into it. Um, and then also that could be a way that Hubert could get back out too. Maybe he doesn't need the mouse after he's inside. And then the blind spot keep portals from being cast toward the school, but inside out frequency as device uses slightly different. I think Wi-Fi firewall's missing one oddball port. Okay, case for building. Words protect the building as a whole, but don't extend to every single object inside. The case itself has its own protective words, but they weren't calibrated for micro portals, just brute force break-ins. Resonant frequency trick. Max's device doesn't cast a portal directly. It shifts his hand to resonate with the inside of the case. Technically not a portal in the same sense, but more like phasing. The school's worlds weren't designed for that flavor of dimensional slip. Oh, that's not a bad idea. I gotta say that. The fact that it might not be a portal per se. The only thing is he's still got to be able to open large portals with his machine that allows people to go in and out. So like a regular portal device. So that's probably not something that I would use. Event frequency trick is not a bad idea, but not doable because his machine, the Omni Gate, needs to open regular portals in order to transport armies through. Okay. I can consider the portal resistant ward to just getting into the school like a shield. Getting out is a little trickier unless they only work one way. That is, you can always get out of it. What's the other thing? I could also say once the wards are tripped, then they're open. That is of non-effect. Even if you can use a spell to determine that wards are broken. More world building just checkmated itself. Moment where the logic of your own cool ideas is making you paint yourself into a corner. Let's back puzzle pieces. Use the resonant frequency trick with Quicksilver to punch portals open anywhere for armies, villain shenanigans, etc. The school wards need to prevent sneaky villains from just popping inside like it's a magical revolving door. But if they don't completely block portal magic, they'd also block. If they can completely block, I've hit the free plan, but at least it uses another model. If I put like a screenshot or something, then it won't let me continue on the same conversation. I'll have to start a different conversation. Anyways, just think of me when I'm looking over to the side screen, like I'm. Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. I guess we're done for today, anyways, aren't we? Okay. Needs to prevent sneaky villains from just popping in. Block the enemy gate, which breaks the story needs. How to keep the words meaningful without nuking your device. ID. One-way wards, magical turnstiles. Designed to block entry portals, not exit portals. So yes, you can walk out even a portal once you're outside, but you can't pop in from the outside unless you're keyed in. A magical bouncer. Okay, that's good. Tripwire logic once breached, nullified. Words are intact until someone forces their way in, tripping them. Once they're broken, it's like smashing a lock. You can tell it's been tampered with, but the door no longer resists. This gives you tension. Someone could detect later that the words were broken, but at that moment of use, the villains can sneak in undisturbed. Layer protections, or specifically filter out intent-based resonance portals. The usual Quicksilver method, but the Omnigate, being a bulky piece of machinery, doesn't just attune; it overpowers the resonance, brute forcing a tear. Skill is built on top of casual magic users, not industrial strength. Villain grade machinery, selective shielding. Boards can be tuned like a radio dial. Wizard U admins to block the entry from the main world, but not from pocket dimensions or other planes, and students may need to access them for class. Max exploits this loophole, forces the Omnigate through a legal frequency that. Okay. Um. I think I'm going to go with tripwire logic. It's like when the tripwire pulls the pin on a series of grenades, they explode. So once someone manages to get into the school, um, then the word is no longer there, although they can still see the broken words. If they can still see the broken words to know someone tripped them. And with that, I need to quit for the day. Thank you. Okay. The clean solution. And let's Hubert and the player detect evidence without breaking eternal rules. Okay, so with that being said, I know I didn't actually do anything in here, but I have even got even further. So maybe in my notes I can go ahead and I have to break here though. Um, so the Wizard U has portal resistant wards that only break when that stop you from opening a portal into the school. But once in the school, it's been tripped, and now anyone can go in and out freely. Um, and that's why Hubert needed to go in via the mouse hole. Okay, I guess I can just leave it like that. Okay. So I'm just going to count that. And okay, so I guess I will see you on the flip side here. And I want to thank you for watching. So thank you for watching part 1.